Hello and welcome back to Sounds on the Couch. I'm very excited to introduce the two members of the Pretty Visitors that are joining us today for our interview. The Pretty Visitors burst onto the UK music scene with the release of 4 demos. They've been well received with features on BBC, with a number of huge headline shows amongst notable support slots with artists such as the Circle Waves, with Jaws, the Family Rain, Sister Ray and Cassia. So I know you'll be really eager to get to know who this band is and who the members are. And so we'll bring them up. We won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's just start our chat. So hello, Aaron and Connor. How are you?
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello, yeah, we're good. Nice to be on.
Absolutely. So let's just start by maybe telling us a little bit about the background of your band, how you got together and who's involved in the band.
It started with me and you, I think, Reed.
Yeah, well, you've got the two most important members, the two guitarists.
So. Box ticked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of all. I guess it started in Reedy's shed, Connor's shed. I used to go around his in the evenings, sort of, listen to records. And he would have I think he had an acoustic guitar or something. We used to just pick up that and play a few, things. I couldn't play guitar at that point. And then one day I brought one and we started learning some things together. And then we decided to make a band and the rest was history.
Okay. And how long ago was that? Did you say that started?
We sort of had a hiatus in the band, so that was probably like 10 years ago now. And then we gigged and played quite extensively for a few years, and then we all went to uni kind of thing, and then we started it back up a couple of years ago. So
excellent. I'm very interested to hear, what was it? I mean, obviously you'd had that break and you went to uni and did your studies. What was it that made you decide that you wanted to bring the band up again and get it started?
For me, it was just that I couldn't really play with anyone else. Like, I tried playing in Bristol, because I went to uni in Bristol. So I tried playing in a few different bands and with a few different people. But I think where we're sort of childhood friends in a way. Like, although we all met in college, it feels like we've known each other a lot longer. So that's just so important to me, making music with people who really understand you and who you understand. So yeah, I think that's why we all wanted to get it going again. And we just love playing gigs and writing songs. So yeah.
Oh, excellent. So for both of you, what was it that started your whole passion with music? Did you start as the band began, or was that something that was always brewing for each of you?
Tough one. I don't know. I think for me, I don't know. I used to listen in my granddad's car on weekends when I used to go see him. He used to have like this old radio station in the UK called Capital Gold. So it just always had like 60s and 70s stuff in. So I got a lot of inspiration from that, and that's where a lot of my musical love comes from. Then after that, yeah, I've always wanted to play. I've always had this inbuilt thing to play, but my mum never let me. It's too noisy. So as soon as I turned like 16, 17, I was just like, I'm gonna go do what I want now.
And then I obviously helped with that too.
Yeah. I gave him the shed, didn't it?
Yeah, he gave me the shed. Whereas I think with Reed, I don't know, your parents are quite
they always
on the music, aren't they?
Yeah, they always encouraged me to explore, because I've always loved singing, and I've always been sort of obsessed with Oasis. There's like pictures of me when I'm 4 years old with like a little toy microphone, like trying to be Liam Gallagher. I used to like get up in school talent shows and sing and stuff. But yeah, actually writing songs and stuff, it was something that came a bit later, maybe 16, 17. Like I just couldn't be asked to play guitar. It's so hard to teach stuff, but eventually it came.
Yeah. And so with the whole songwriting thing, within the band, who writes the songs? Is that something that you do as a group together, or is it sort of one person within the band is the real songwriter?
It is a group thing, yeah. It's like sometimes I could bring in half a song or whatever, but we all sort of chip in. I'd say probably lyrically it's mainly me, but aside from that, musically it's all of us. Like it's just really dynamic and sort of organic way that it happens. We just all sort of come into band practice and it just seems to work for us. Like we all just bring our own unique thing to the song. Yeah.
Excellent. And so there's no real process that you're using with your creative process. It just sort of, the music just comes together, or do you have a way that you go about writing your music?
You write out of hate, don't you, Reed?
I don't really write happy songs, yeah. But in terms of lyrically, I don't know. I think that's probably because we've got such a range of influences. I think that's probably why our sound's quite different, and we just, it depends how we're feeling on the day, you know. And it can come out as punky, it can come out as like even hip hoppy, or do you know what I mean? Spoken word, yeah. But we like it that way. Like, we don't really like it to be a specific way of writing a song. We like it to be as different as possible and as fresh, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what creativity is about, isn't it? That
Yeah.
that ability to really be able to express yourself in whatever way you're feeling. So when going back to the band itself, what was it that made you come up with the name The Pretty Visitors?
We hate this question.
Yeah.
We once again back in Reedy's shed when we were about 11 when we were about 16. Yeah, I don't know. We got the sort of the skeleton of the band together with everyone that you see today. And yeah, I think we got to our first gig. It was 2 weeks before, and we really needed to just pick a name. And I think the Arctic Monkeys the Pretty Visitors come up from the Arctic Monkeys song. And yeah, it just stuck really. And now we hate it.
Yeah, we don't like it anymore. Like,
So tell me about that. Why do you hate the name now?
I just think because it's like some of our earlier stuff was really Arctic Monkeys influence, so now it kind of carries that thing of like, oh, we're like an Arctic Monkeys cut. I don't know. It's just it's like, especially now when we're writing stuff that's way more. It's just our own kind of sound that it's growing, but we still got this link to the Arctic Monkeys. I think that's the thing that annoys us.
It tarnishes us as well. It sort of drags us back sometimes. Sort of false association type thing.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Maybe the Arctic Monkeys might appreciate having a link to you down the track.
Well, yeah.
So for those who might not be familiar with your music, I know that you've spoken about having a bit of a mixed sound and different styles of songs, but how would you explain the way that your music sounds?
It's, I mean, you'd say indie as a broad term, but I think, I don't know, some of the songs, like if you go to our Spotify, it would be like High Salem Blues is obviously really bluesy, like bluesy rock, kind of White Stripesy, I don't know really. And then things like Mystery Woman are a bit more psychedelic, and Head in the Sand and Western Skies are a bit more kind of like, I don't know, like, what would you say Head in the Sand's like? Maybe a bit Joy Division-y, but with like the streets that's over the top. I don't know. It's just a weird, it's a weird blend, but it seems to work. We seem to find our sound more and more with each song, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, excellent. And so what has your highlight been as a band so far? I know that you came together, was it 2019, when you've come back together? So, I mean, during that time, I mean, you've released a bit of music, you've been getting out there quite a bit. So, what have been some of your biggest highlights?
I think it was headlining the Wedgwood at the moment. I mean, the Wedgwood Rooms, which is in Portsmouth, is like a big venue. As kids, we've grown up going there, watching big touring bands come through, headline, and bugger off. So when we got the chance to headline there, that was pretty amazing. Because we initially sold out the sister venue at first. We just planned on playing that, which was like 150 person or something. Yeah. We sold that out within like a week. And then they were like, you got two options. You can play 2 nights at the Edge of the Wedge, which is a sister venue, or you can play the big room. We're like, yeah, we'll play the big room. And yeah, we sold that out as well. So that was pretty cool. Like, first gig back, sold out the biggest venue in the area.
I think for us it was just such a big deal as well, because we weren't sure if people would sort of still be wanting to come and watch us, because it had been years out, and everyone came and everyone was just loving it. So yeah, that was probably our highlight so far. Like BBC, going on BBC and doing some live stuff on there. That was pretty amazing as well.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so from there, what's the next highlight that you'd like to achieve?
I think just some festivals, and maybe a little mini tour. Australia would be like number one, but we won't get ahead of ourselves.
If anyone wants to pay, crack on.
All right. So tell us about, you've got your latest single, Head in the Sand. So tell us a little bit about this single that you've released and what it's about, what's inspired you to create that music.
So Head in the Sand, our latest single is Western Skies. Head in the Sand was the one
sorry.
that's all right. Just because I mentioned it earlier. Western Skies is just about sort of that kind of mid to late 20s thing where you kind of don't really know where your life's heading, and you're in a small town that you sort of have a love-hate relationship with, and it's just that kind of culture of mundanity and nothing changing. I think it's quite it's comedic at times, but it's just a take on that kind of culture of not really knowing what you want to do, but knowing that you don't really like being stuck somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, great. Is there a story that's behind that song that inspired you to put that together?
Lyrically, for me, it was just walking around the town where I am based at, sort of a small seaside town. Mainly old people live there, and sort of walking around the town centre, and it just sort of it was basically like a diary entry. I've got to be honest. It was just how I was feeling that day, and then musically, it just really fell into place. Like it just went really well when we got in the studio.
Yeah.
Reed had the whole thing written down before, so it was quite cool to go in with a full structure and then just play with it even more in the studio, to get a bit experimental. So that was fun. Yeah,
honestly, like I was listening the other day to the sort of home demo that I'd done of that song, and God, it got so much better. It wasn't very good at all, and we sort of upped the tempo, and Aaron added some nice licks, and we changed the breakdown slightly, and it just turned out massive.
Fantastic. And so what was the process like for you, or the experience like, in terms of going and taking that song and putting it together and going through the whole release process?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's a big question.
So what was it like recording it?
Yeah, well, what's over the whole, like putting the song together and releasing it, like what's your experience been like?
I think it was a lot of fun. I mean, how we recorded it this time, usually historically we've always recorded to a click track, so it was very structured and rigid, but this time we sort of recorded it in a live setting, so we all played at once and took the drum and the bass track at the same time from start to finish. I think it just made a massive difference to the song, the quality wise. But releasing it, we've had such a good response. I think a lot of people have been enjoying it. I mean, for our previous release, Head in the Sand, we got a lot of BBC, national play on Radio 6. But I think the difference with this one is the big stations and the big channels haven't really picked up on it, but we've had thousands of just normal people piping up and giving us messages saying how good it is, loving it, actually, organically playing it, which has been nice. And it's been a bit of an FU to the BBC, because I think there's too much, there's a bit of Tory hate in it, right-wing hate, political sort of voice in it. And it's just not the BBC. They're too PC for that. So, it's been nice to really connect with the people, but not the media in a way. And I think that's where music sits at its best.
Yeah, and I think at the moment with, the way the world is, especially with COVID coming on and having to do so much more online, that connection piece becomes so much more important with your fans. And so, how has all of this kind of helped you build those relationships with your fans?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think just. It's just you just got to make a bit more effort, and you just got to focus on that kind of social media side of things and stuff, as much as we'd love to be playing gigs and connecting to people in a real sort of live environment, it's still a good feeling to interact with fans and share like good content. And so yeah, we haven't taken that lightly, and I think it's worked really well for the release. I think every song you release, you learn more about that kind of thing, and how to spread the posts out, and how to sort of get people interested and build it up, but don't overdo it, that kind of thing. So I think we hit the right balance on this one, definitely.
Yeah, we've done a music video as well for the release, which sort of helped bolster it visually for people. But it's nothing on playing a gig. You can never beat playing a gig.
So if people are looking to find that video, whereabouts can they look for the film clip?
YouTube, usual areas, every streaming platform you can imagine.
Excellent. And so talking about COVID and, you know, gigs and all of that kind of thing, how has all of that affected your music as a band?
I think at first it made us more determined. It was like, I don't know, I think at first everyone thought it'd be a novelty thing. I was like, oh, we'll be back playing in like a couple of months, you know. So we were all just kind of writing away. And then it just gradually has kind of brought us down a bit. But we still managed to, whenever restrictions allowed, we haven't let it hold us back. We got in the studio a couple of times. We've had a couple of band practices, and so yeah, we're keeping our heads up. Creatively, it's getting a bit dry, but I think we've got enough songs in the bank now. But yeah, it is killing me. I do want to play gigs. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll all be back to it soon.
Fingers crossed.
So what about future releases? Do you have something else in the works that you're planning on bringing out soon?
We're actually going back into the studio next weekend.
Excellent.
I think we're planning on doing an EP, but we'll see how it goes. We're recording a couple of songs, so the aim is to get a big bulk of work out there at some point towards the end of this year. And once again, it sounds nothing like our previous stuff, so it keeps you on your toes.
Absolutely. And so big goals in terms of what you'd like to do in the future. Are you planning on bringing out at the moment, I guess you've been bringing out singles. Do you have any plans of bringing out an album or an EP anytime soon?
I'd love to do an album. Don't get me wrong. It's just when you're sort of an independent artist, the financial side of it is just hard. I'm not sure if we'll be in a position for a year or 2 years. I don't know how long it will be, but one day I'd love to. EP, as Aaron said, we might do that. We might be doing that later this year. But if not, we might do 2 singles, but have each of them have a B-side and have a double track kind of thing. So there'll definitely be a longer play thing coming from us for sure.
Yeah, excellent. So for any other artists that might be watching your journey and sort of seeing some of the success that you're having with your music, is there any kind of advice that maybe you might be able to give them for their own musical journey?
Play with your friends, I think. That's the biggest one. Yeah, it helps.
And don't beat yourself up comparing yourself to anyone else. Just stay true to what you think you like, and generally people will like it too. And if they don't, then you know what I mean. Who cares?
Yeah. And so in terms of playing with your friends, do you have, I mean, obviously it's worked so well for you, but some people would definitely say working that closely with friends can be a real challenge. So what do you think has made it very successful for you as a group, being able to work so closely with people that you are that comfortable with?
I just think we all know each other's foibles, so we all know how bad we can be, and we just put up with it, you know. I can be a pain in the ass as much as everyone else. So it's just acceptance, isn't it, really? And just, you know, unfortunately, most of the time, you know, 90% of the time we're having fun. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that shows so much in your music as well. When you are having fun, that comes through. So ultimately, if everything did line up for you as a band, where would you like to end up?
Oh God. Well, as I say, Australia or somewhere. I'd like to get away from England. I'd like to be living in the sunshine on a beach somewhere, and then recording in a little, I don't know, like a studio off. In Australia. That'd be good. Just get us out of England and get us playing some big gigs. So that's all I want.
Although I think there's many bigger gigs in London than there are in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, it does rain there a lot though.
So what would it mean to you if you were to call yourself successful? Like, what would success mean to you as a band?
It wouldn't really be the money side of things. It would just be the fact that lots of people had connected to our music enough to stream it and buy it. I think that would be the most satisfying thing. We've already had a sort of mini scale thing of it at that gig Aaron's mentioned earlier in Wedgwood Rooms. You had people singing our lyrics back at us, and to have that on a bigger scale it'd blow my mind really, because that's something we've made up in a shed.
Yeah.
And to play Glastonbury, of course.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we'd all love to play Glastonbury. So what is it that you most love about doing what you do? I guess, so many people go to their jobs every day and don't necessarily enjoy it, but, at the moment you get to live a very creative life. Like, what is it about that you enjoy most?
That's just the ultimate freedom, isn't it, really? Creativity, being able to do that every day, and make a living off of it, that'd be perfect. But unfortunately, we all work jobs that we hate at the moment, so we are those people.
Hopefully they're not watching this interview.
Sorry, boss.
So when you're not doing your music, what kind of work is it that you're doing?
I'm doing building.
Yeah.
Aaron, you're doing like PR and things, or is it not that?
I basically take photos and videos and stuff, manage that for a company, which is quite cool, but still not playing in band. So
my job is the reason why all the lyrics are depressing. I've got to be honest.
I was like you, Reed. I grew up, I was like 16 working on a site, and I was just like, nah, can't do another 80 years of this. My back will be up 40.
Do you sing your songs on the site and get your fellow workers to join in?
Get your dad. It's a kind of works with his dad, so he'd have to get on back in harmonies. I think
some business,
All right. So if our audience are looking to find your music, whereabouts can they look to find you?
Just search The Pretty Visitors on any streaming service. As I say, the Western Skies video we're really proud of, so give that a search. Western Skies into YouTube, it should come up. But yeah, all everywhere.
Fantastic. And I'll pop the links in for everyone as well. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience before we finish up?
Just listen to us.
Everyone will be listening. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us, and it's been amazing to get to know you a little bit, so thank you.
No, thank you.
I'm good.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.